Hi, welcome back. It's week 4, and that means you are almost halfway home. When you teach your lesson this week, you will have finished half of Beginning 101. Congratulations. Well, I want to tell you first of all that this is a bit of a breather week. We don't have quite as much new material, and we do spend a little bit more time catching up and allowing your students to absorb the things they've learned these first 4 weeks. And so this is kind of a nice week. Your class may tend to run just a little bit shorter, which gives you a little time for question and answer or some individual coaching during your 45-minute class. But you'll find that this is kind of a nice breather. Now the pace picks up next week with week 5, so we just want to catch up and let everybody feel like they're on the same page by this point. You're getting really familiar with the class format. I'll keep talking to you about it, but very briefly. First of all, begin with prayer and get that eternal perspective going on as you pray for your students, for their future, and for what the Lord is going to do, and as you pray for yourself that day as you teach them, that God would give you just the words and the illustrations you need that day. Second thing in your class format is the warm-up, and you know to look back at week 3 and get an idea from the chord progressions of what chords to use and what order. Remember, always start with the easiest and end with the hardest. Always start with long intervals like 8 measures or 8 strums, and shorten that down to smaller intervals like 2 strums or even 1 strum per chord change. And you need to be developing that ability to call out the chord changes in a rhythmic, regular cadence using beats 3 and 4 in the measure before the chord changes. We discussed that last week. So continue practicing that yourself this week. The third thing is to review last week's song, to go back and to see how they did on last week's song. And again, you might want to go back 2 weeks. Generally, the song they did 2 weeks ago, they're feeling even better about than the song they've just had 1 week to practice. And the fourth thing is to teach new material. So let's get into that. This week, our new material is the lift and shift chord change. And in the lift and shift chord change, we are going to teach them how to keep their fingers locked together as a unit when you have a finger or fingers of the same shape in the same fret, but on different strings. Now, one lift and shift change that they can make right now is from their E minor, using fingers 2 and 3, on strings 5 and 4. If they simply lift, shift them over one string, and push them back down,